Hello, I'm Pinsang, Virgil the Doubtful, and this is the poorly animated and very slowly progressing Book of Mormon. And we, collectively, are in the 5th chapter of Mosiah, which is the 4th chapter that includes the speech of Benjamin. Not sure why Benjamin didn't get his own book, seeing as we had, 4 books in a row with 1 chapter each. He could have had the speech of Benjamin. At least it would have been forewarning. Oh, I guess we would have missed the 1st chapter of Mosiah, which was... I don't even remember. What was the 1st chapter of Mosiah? I think he's just talking about the transition from Mosiah to Benjamin to Mosiah. Regardless, we're moving ahead. And now it came to pass that when King Benjamin had thus spoken to his people, he sent among them, desiring to know of his people if they had believed his words which he had spoken unto them. So he wants instant feedback. Wow, this dude is impatient. And they... I guess everybody in this country, all cried with one voice, saying, Yea, we believe all the words which thou hast spoken unto us. All of them. We believe them, every single word. And also, we know of their surety and truth, because of the Spirit of the Lord omnipotent, back to that, which has wrought a mighty change in us, or in our hearts. Why do they correct themselves? They all universally corrected themselves, that we may have no more disposition to do evil, but to do good continually. So this kingdom will never sin again. And we, ourselves, also, through the infinite goodness of God and the manifestations of his Spirit, have great views on what is to come. And were it expedient, we could prophesy of all things. Wow, the whole country just became prophets. And is the faith which we have had on the things which our King has spoken unto us that has brought us to this great knowledge, whereby we do rejoice in such exceedingly great joy. Exceedingly and great. Super plus double great. And we are willing to enter into a covenant with our God to do his will, and to be obedient to his commandments in all things that he shall command us, all for the remainder of our days, that we may not bring upon ourselves a never-ending torment, as has been spoken by the angel, that we may not drink out of the cup of the wrath of God. And now these are the words which King Benjamin desired of them, and therefore he said unto them, Ye have spoken the words that I desired. Those are just what he wanted you to say. And this covenant which ye have made is a righteous covenant. And now, because of the covenant which ye have made, ye shall be called the children of Christ. Which is really weird, because he's not going to be born for 100 and some years. His sons and his daughters, for behold, this day he hath spiritually begotten you. For ye say that your hearts are changed through faith on his name, therefore ye are born of him and have become his sons and daughters. And under this head ye are made free, and there is no other head whereby ye can be made free. There is no other name given whereby salvation cometh. Therefore I would that ye should take upon the name of Christ, all you that have entered into the covenant with God, that ye should be obedient unto the end of your lives. And it shall come to pass that whosoever doeth this shall be found at the right hand of God, for he shall know the name by which he is called. For he shall be called by the name of Christ. It's not his name. And now it shall come to pass that whosoever shall not take upon him the name of Christ must be called by some other name. Therefore he findeth himself on the left hand of God. I wonder what that name is. What's the name? What's the name? Tell me. And I would that ye should remember also that this is the name that I said I should give unto you, that never should be blotted out, except through transgression. Therefore take heed that you do not transgress, that the name be not blotted out of your hearts. I say unto you, I would that ye should remember to retain the name written always in your hearts, that ye are not found on the left hand of God. You're just covering the same territory here, buddy. But that ye hear and know by the voice of by which ye shall be called, and also the name by which he shall call you. And that is literally 5 verses, all just about the name. That's ridiculous. Oh wait, and it continues, For how knoweth a man the master whom he has not served, and who is a stranger unto him, and is far from the thoughts and intents of his heart? And again, doth a man take an ass which belongeth to his neighbor? Don't take your neighbor's ass. And keep him? I say unto you, Nay. He shall not even suffer that he shall feed amongst his flocks, but will drive him away and cast him out. I say unto you, that even so it shall be among you, if ye know not the name by which ye are called. Whole chapter's the name game. Therefore I would that ye should be steadfast and immovable, always abounding in good works, that Christ, the Lord God omnipotent, may seal you his, I don't know, that you may be brought to heaven, that ye may have everlasting salvation and eternal life, through the wisdom and the power and the justice and the mercy of him who created all things in heaven and earth, who is God above all. Amen. And that is the end of the 5th chapter of Mr. Mosiah, who has shown very little appearance in this book thus far. Let's take a peek at 6. Yes, 6 is very short, actually. And now King Benjamin thought it was expedient, after having spoken to the people, that he should take the names of all those who had entered into the covenant of God to keep his commandments. And now you're going to so you've already done a survey, and now you're going to do a census. And it came to pass that there was not one soul, except it were little children, but who had entered into the covenant and taken upon them the name of Christ. They're all named Christ now. Everyone's last name is now Christ. It is going to make it really hard to deliver mail. And again, it came to pass that when King Benjamin had made to an end of all these things, he had consecrated his son Mosiah to be a ruler and a king over his people, and had given him all the charges concerning the kingdom, all of them, and also had appointed priests to teach the people, that thereby they might hear and know the commandments of God, and to stir them up into remembrance of the oath which they had just made. He dismissed the multitude, and they returned, everyone according to their families to their own houses. Wondrous. That's wondrous. And they're all named Christ now. And Mosiah began to reign in his father's stead, and he began to reign in the 30th year of his age, making in the whole, about 476 years from the time Lehi left Jerusalem. Okay, so 476 years from the 600, and I'm going to do the math in my head and not hit pause at all and totally do this on the calculator. So we are at 124 years until the Jesus comes, and 1900 years until Joseph Smith comes. And King Benjamin lived 3 years, and he died. I assume it meant he lived 3 more years after he named his son as king. And it came to pass that King Mosiah did walk in the ways of the Lord, and did observe his judgments and his statutes, and did keep his commandments in all things whenever he commanded him. In all things whatsoever he commanded him. I assume he being God and him being Mosiah. And King Mosiah did cause his people that they should till the earth. And he also himself did till the earth, the gardener king, King Mosiah the gardener, that thereby he might not become burdensome to his people, that he might do according to that which his father had done in all things. And there was no contention among his people for the space of 3 whole years. I wonder if those 3 years are the years King Benjamin were still alive. Maybe it was all tied to him. And that's the end, amazingly, of the 6th chapter of Mosiah. And looking ahead, the 7th chapter is fairly long. But you know what? I'm feeling adventurous. I'm feeling motivated. I would like to get something to happen other than this giant speech that we've had to read. And now it came to pass that after King Mosiah had continual peace for the space of 3 whole years, he was desirous to know concerning the people who went to dwell in the land of LehiNephi. Why is it called LehiNephi? Or in the city of LehiNephi? Why is it called LehiNephi? I thought they just called it Nephi. I don't know. Apparently they're fond of changing names. I don't know. Nothing, not revealed. For his people had heard nothing from them from the time they left the land of Zarahemlocks. Therefore they wearied him with their teasings. Wearied him with their teasings. I don't know what that means. That's a weird sentence. And it came to pass that King Mosiah granted that 16 of their strong men, wow, 16 whole men, might go up to the land of Lehi-Nephi, still don't understand why it's called that, to inquire concerning their brethren. And it came to pass that on the morrow, everything's on the morrow. It must not be what that means. This on the morrow is tomorrow. They started to go up, having with them one Ammon, he being a strong and mighty man, and a descendant of Zarahemlocks. And he was also their leader. There you go. And now they knew not the course that they should travel in the wilderness to go to the land of... Why? Why don't you know the path? It hasn't been that long since it was Mosiah's grandfather, right, that came here? I don't know. They should travel in where? The wilderness, to go up to the land of Lehi-Nephi. Therefore they wandered many days in the wilderness. Even 40 days did they wander. Because, wilderness. And when they had wandered 40 days, they came to a hill. This is the first hill, which is north of the land of Shilam. I don't know where the land of Shilam is, and I don't know where they are, so north of the land of Shilam is useless information. And there they pitched their tents. And Ammon took 3 of his brethren, and their names were Amaleki, Helam, and Hem. And they went down into the land of Nephi. And behold, they met the king of the people who were in the land of Nephi, who, if I remember correctly, all the kings are named Nephi. And in the land of Shilam, and they were surrounded by the king's guard, and were taken, and were bound, and were committed to prison. They were not very welcome there in Nephi. And it came to pass, when they had been in prison 2 days, they were again brought before the king. Don't you have somebody who could handle this sort of thing? Who is it to the king? And their bands were loosed, and they stood before the king and were permitted, or rather commanded. Why do you keep correcting yourself? Why do you correct yourself? That they should answer the questions which he should ask them. And he said unto them, Behold, I am Lemhi, the son of Noah, who is the son of Zeneph, who came up out of the land of Zarahemla to inherit this land, which was the land of their fathers, and who was made a king by the voice of the people. I thought the people who went to Zarahemla left people behind in Nephi. This seems to suggest that Nephi, the land of Nephi, was abandoned. And now I desire to know the cause whereby you were so bold as to come near the walls of the city, when I myself was with my guards without the gate. The king or the guards recognized every citizen of this city. And now, for this cause have I suffered ye should be preserved, that I might inquire of you, or else I should have caused my guards who should put you to death. You are permitted to speak. And now, when Ammon saw that he was permitted to speak, lovely, he went forth and bowed himself before the king, and rising said, O king, I am very thankful before God this day that I am yet alive, because you had every right to kill me for walking up to your town, and am permitted to speak, and I will endeavor to speak with boldness. For I am assured that if ye had known me, you would not have suffered that I should be born in these bands. For I am Ammon, and I am a descendant of Zarahemla, and I have come out of the land of Zarahemla to inquire concerning our brethren, whom Zenith brought up out of that land. And now it came to pass that after Lemhi had heard the words of Ammon, he was exceedingly glad, and said, Now I know of a surety that my brethren who are in the land of Zarahemla are yet alive. Just because he says so, okay? Some guy shows up, says they're alive, and you believe it. And now I will rejoice, and on the morrow, always on the morrow, I will cause that my people, all of them, shall rejoice also. For behold, we are in bondage to the Lamanites, and are taxed with a tax which is grievous to be borne. Oh no, not the taxes. And now, behold, our brethren will deliver us out of our bondage, which is taxation, or out of the hands of the Lamanites, and we will be their slaves. For it is better that we be slave to the Nephites than pay tribute to the king of the Lamanites. That seems a strange deal. And now King Lemhi commanded his guards that they should no more bind Ammon or his brethren, but cause that they should go to the hill which was north of Shilam, and bring their brethren into the city. So you left a bunch of people behind, I guess, that thereby they might eat and drink and rest themselves from the labors of their journey, for they had suffered many things which we did not have described to us. They had suffered hunger and thirst and fatigue. And now it came to pass on the morrow, the king Lemhi sent a proclamation among his people, that thereby they might gather themselves together to the temple to hear the words which he should speak unto them. Isn't this the same thing as just happened with King Benjamin? And it came to pass, when they had gathered themselves together, he spake unto them in this wise, saying, O ye my people, lift up your heads and be comforted. For behold, the time is at hand, or is not far distant. Again with the correcting. So dumb. We will no longer be in subjugation to our enemies, notwithstanding our many strugglings. Well, you're just going to be subjugated to someone else according to your deal, which have been in vain. Yet I trust that there remaineth an effectual struggle to be made. Therefore lift up your heads and rejoice, and put your trust in God, in that God who is God of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, and also that God who brought the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, and caused that they should walk through the Red Sea on dry ground, and fed them with manna that they might not perish in the wilderness. You know that guy. Are you aware of this guy? And many more things did he do for them. And again, that same God who has brought our fathers out of the land of Jerusalem, and has kept and preserved his people even until now. And behold, it is because of our iniquities and abominations that he has brought us into bondage. What were those iniquities and abominations, by the way? And why is it that the Lamanites are not being punished for theirs, other than the skin tone, And ye are all witnesses this day that Zenith, who was made king over this people, he being overzealous to inherit the land of his father, therefore being deceived by the cunning and craftiness of King Laman, another King Laman, he's King Laman, who, having entered into a treaty with King Zenith, and having yielded up into his hands the possessions of a part of the land, or even the city of LehiNephi. There's a city called LehiNephi, ladies and gentlemen, not just Nephi, and the city of Shilam, that was in the land round about. And all this he did for the sole purpose of bringing his people into subjugation or into bondage. And behold, we at this time do pay tribute to the king of the Lamanites, to the amount of 1/2 of our corn and our barley, and even our grain of every kind. Wow, half, 50% tax, that sucks. And 1/2 of the increase of our flocks and our herds, the increase, okay? And even 1/2 of all we have or possess the king of the Lamanites doth exact of us or our lives. And now, is this not grievous to be borne? Well, it is a high tax rate. But what do you get for it? Do you get free health care? That would kind of help. And is not this, our affliction, great? Now behold, how great reason we have to mourn. Yea, I say unto you, great are the reasons which we have to mourn, for behold, how many of our brethren have been slain? I don't know how many. And their blood has been spilt in vain, and all because of iniquity. For if this people had not fallen into transgression, the Lord would not have suffered that this great evil should come upon them. But behold, they would not hearken unto his words, But there arose contentions among them, even so much that they did shed blood amongst themselves. And a prophet of the Lord have they slain, yea, a chosen man of God, who told them of their wickedness and abominations, and prophesied of many things which are to come, yea, even the coming of Christ. And because he said unto them that Christ was the God, the Father of all things, and said that he should take upon him the image of man, and it should be the image after which man was created in the beginning, or, in other words, he said that man was created after the image of God, and that God should come down among the children of men, and take upon him flesh and blood, and go forth upon the face of the earth. And now, because he, the unnamed prophet, said this, they, the people, I guess, of LehiNephi, did put him, the unnamed prophet, to death. And many more things did they do which brought down the wrath of God upon them. Therefore, who wondereth that they are in bondage, and that they are smitten with sore afflictions? For behold, the Lord hath said, I will not succor my people in the day of their transgressions, but I will hedge up their ways that they prosper not, and their doings shall be as a stumbling block before them, unless they're Lamanites. And again he saith, If my people shall sow filthiness, they shall reap the chaff, therefore, of the whirlwind, and the effect thereof is poison. Very poetic, not original. And again he saith, who's he? The Lord, I guess. If my people shall sow filthiness, they shall reap the east wind, which bringeth immediate destruction. And now behold, the promise of the Lord is fulfilled, and ye are smitten and afflicted. But if ye will turn to the Lord with full purpose of heart, and put your trust in him, and serve him with all diligence of mind, if ye do this, he will, according to his own will and pleasure, deliver you out of bondage. And that little bit of interesting history is the end of chapter 7 of Mosiah, where we find Ammon has discovered the city of LehiNephi, which is interesting. There apparently is also a city or a town or something called Shiloh, and they are there. These 16 people led by Ammon. And so I guess next time we'll find out what happened to them. I'm still not 100% sure I understand the history here, the background. Did people get left behind in the town of Nephi, and now these are different people? I'm not following all of this, but come back next time. Maybe we'll find out together. Maybe it'll explain it, and we'll get some more of the history of the LehiNephites and the Zarahemlites and whoever else, I don't know. Because now we have King Lemhi, and I'm sorry about your taxes. If you're sorry about my taxes, come back next time. Like and subscribe. Come back next time. I, as always, am your guide, King Lemhi, the taxed.